A raw alphabetical roster of over 500 celebrities offers no operational utility on its own. Look closely at the data points, however, and specific patterns of cultural capital emerge. Here we see global pageant title holders like Pia Wurtzbach and Catriona Gray. The matrix integrates international pop icons like Olivia Rodrigo directly into the same dataset as these local winners. These 552 individuals are compiled within one definitive document, the Princess Heartline Third Batch Official Directory. The immediate problem is structural. An unstructured text list of this size cannot be used to coordinate a global organization. To organize these 552 nodes into a usable topology, the system applies a specific partitioning algorithm to the raw list. When we extract the names and treat them strictly as raw data points, the scale of the network becomes apparent. This is the unstructured state of the directory before any sorting takes place. At this stage, the connections between individuals are arbitrary. There is no hierarchy, no direction, and no central control mechanism. By reverse engineering the rules in the document, we can observe how the system tiers, anchors, and sorts these nodes. The text details a pipeline that begins with localized celebrity clusters and scales up to macro telecommunications integration. Approaching this directory as a structural blueprint reveals an architecture built for systematic operational control. The sorting algorithm begins by establishing vertical tiering. Before grouping nodes horizontally, the system assigns an operational priority to every point. At the peak of this hierarchy sits a block of 24 main core members, functioning as the primary operational layer. Beneath them, the system cascades into designated secondary strata, 24 official members, 24 extended members, and 40 legacy nodes. This chart visualizes the mathematical breakdown of the 552 nodes across these specific tiers. Notice the 53-member block at the base, the reserves roster. These reserves serve as a deliberate buffer, ready to be deployed in the event of network attrition or a node failure in the upper tiers. Through vertical tiering, the system ensures that every node's value and redundancy role is defined before any faction grouping occurs. With vertical priority set, the system initiates a horizontal shuffle, labeled in the document as the group twist. This process takes the vertically tiered nodes and divides them with exact uniformity. The governing equation is fixed. The matrix generates 24 distinct groups, each containing 23 members. The result is a matrix defined by sharp boundary divisions. These geometric facets represent the 24 castlemate factions. The algorithm isolates the raw data points into distinct, controlled environments. The document names these silos directly, establishing clusters like the Golden Crown, the Ivory Palace, and the Sunset Bastion. This uniform distribution neutralizes the chaos of the raw data, replacing it with 24 mathematically equal operational units. This rigid horizontal division introduces a critical topological question. Without a stabilizing force, what prevents these isolated celebrity clusters from fracturing? The system uses structural anchors. It physically binds the clusters to real-world Philippine senators. The directory draws its hub nodes directly from this macro-political environment. For example, Senator Alan Peter Cayetano serves as the hub for Group 1, the Golden Crown faction. Senator Ime Marcos is designated as the hub for Group 6, the Ivory Palace. This graph models the physics of that relationship. A central political hub exerts gravity, pulling its 23 cultural satellite nodes into a stabilized orbit. When this single stabilized cluster is duplicated 24 times, the complete faction ecosystem is formed. By co-opting existing government architecture, the system utilizes real political gravity wells to anchor and coordinate pop culture capital. Operating 24 senator-anchored factions depends on an integrated hardware layer. Section 2 of the document, titled Official Partnerships and Global Infrastructure, outlines this hardware blueprint. The primary requirement is physical integration with global fiber optic networks and satellite telecommunications arrays. On the software side, the network relies on digital identity verification and cloud-based architecture to monitor the nodes. The 24 castlemate factions act as localized processing units, feeding data into this global digital ecosystem. These celebrity political clusters operate as the front-facing interface for a hardwired intergovernmental grid. Zooming out from the fiber optic lines and political hubs allows us to view the system architecture from a planetary perspective. The document superimposes its 24 node clusters over geographic regions to represent systemic deployment. Phase 1 focused on amassing localized cultural capital, gathering 552 names into a single roster. Phase 2 structured that capital by tethering it to the political hubs of 24 senatorial factions. Phase 3 scales those factions outward through international telecommunications and intergovernmental agreements. This neural network mapping mirrors the rigid topology described in the text. The once flat directory is now a cohesive, monitored web of nodes. The Princess Heartline third batch is a blueprint for the algorithmic sorting and systemic coordination of a global media